Thank you for tuning into this episode of Twin Finance. My name is Jackson. Today, we're going to talk about some pretty important news in regards to student loans. And before I get into it, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. And if you like this video, remember to hit that like button. So back to the big news, guys. I think it's really big news and it's not really good news. So I'm just going to start off on that note and I'm just going to get right into it. So basically the Republicans proposed a bill that would allow the government, it didn't get passed yet or anything, but they're trying to get it passed, obviously. When they propose a bill, they're trying to get it passed. They proposed a bill to allow governments to withdraw student loan payments directly from your paycheck before it even reaches your bank account. So I'll just kind of illustrate what that means. So say you get $1,000 every week, just to make the numbers easy. $1,000 every week. Okay, so now, usually, so say you gross $1,000 every week. Before you get it, there's tax. You say you're paying, in Canada it's CPP, so I'll just write pension. So like whatever your pension contributions are. Then you got, employment, insurance is what we call it in Canada. I'm not sure what it is in the States, so I'll just write EI. So employment insurance, all that stuff comes off, all the government stuff. And then typically after that, say you contributed that, you'll get like 800 or whatever in your bank account, right? Well, what the government, and then, so how it is right now is you have 800 left, say your student loan comes out, it's like $100 a week or whatever, you pay it from there. Well, what's going to happen now is the government's going to be able to take it out from here. So you're also going to have to add in student loan. So that's going to come out first, say it's $100 or whatever, $700. Boom, boom. So if you're getting paid weekly, whatever, it's going to come right out of your paycheck before you even see it. And what I think is most people, they do a lot of stuff on credit already, but I think this really could set some people back. And I'm just going to write down some numbers real quick to just kind of illustrate that for you guys, just so you can see where I'm coming from here. So I'm just going to write down 3 stats real quick. So most of you probably know. 1, 6. I'm just going to write the zeros out so you can grasp the magnitude of it. Okay, so that's how much student loan debt there is in America. Sorry for that crooked line, I'm just going to leave it. That's broken down into 44 million Americans. 44 million Americans have student loan debt. And this is the frightening stat, 1 of 5 people with student loans are delinquent or they're just delinquent. I'll write delinquent. Delinquent, or they're just behind on their student loans. So they're either not paying or they're just not paying at all. So they're paying late or they're not paying at all. So what you guys need to understand with this is, with the money coming out before it even gets to your bank account, what that's gonna affect most is these people right here. Because these people they're deciding, like, look, I'm going to do I have to eat, I have to eat food, I have to pay for my kids' stuff and whatever, so I'm not going to pay my student loan this month. But what happens is, if that student loan payment comes out automatically and they have no choice, probably like 90% of these people right here are going to be bankrupt. Because they're going to have to do something. All of a sudden they have less money, they can't eat, they can't do stuff, they're going to fall behind on more stuff. Because bottom line, guys, survival stuff comes first, like food, eating. People probably think their cell phone bill is like more important, right? So that stuff's gonna come first in most people's mind, and what that's gonna do is I think a lot of those people are either gonna go bankrupt, fall behind on more stuff. So that's really gonna affect the economy. So if you just do the quick math real fast, 44 divided by 5 is it's right around 8.8 something like that. 8.8 million people. If all of a sudden you have 8.8 million Americans that are almost bankrupt because their student loans are just getting them, that's awful for the economy. So all of a sudden I think the U.S. working force is somewhere, I think it's 180 million people. So if you have 8.8 million people all of a sudden kind of bankrupt, that's like 5% of your working force right there. Boom, finished. So all of a sudden 5% of your economy and working force, that's going to have a lot of a negative effect, not only for lenders, but for the government itself, right? Because if people start going bankrupt, think of how much, if you do 8.8 million, I think the average person has like $30,000 student loans. So 8.8 times 30 million, 8.8 million times 30,000. So that's a big number, right? So all of a sudden a lot of this debt starts to come into question. So I just believe that this student loan crisis, I'll call it, because hey, $1.6 trillion in student loans, once stuff starts to get shaky, that's a big number. The stock market's 20 trillion. Like, that's a huge number. That's what, almost 5% of the economy just in student loan debt. So that's just massive, guys. You need to understand the magnitude of the situation when you're dealing with student loans and the government and delinquencies. That could just cripple a lot of A, people financially, and B, lenders. People who lend money, buy the government debt to pay student loans and everything, right? So if the government starts to get in some hot water with their student loans, you're going to see a lot of aftershocks. There'll be the initial blow to a lot of people, but you're just going to see the aftershocks over time, like an earthquake, just going forward year after year after year with the student loan crisis you're going to have to deal with. And I'm not trying to be biased here. If I'm the government, hey, I understand where they're coming from. Like the Republicans, by all means, if I had to lend someone $50,000 to go to school and they didn't have to make any payments or anything for 4 years, yeah, I'd want to take it right out of their paycheck. I don't want them to just go do whatever and don't worry about paying that guy back. It's been 4 years. I have nothing to show for it. My money's not here. You're probably going to pay me back over 10 or 15 years. Like, these people have to wait 15, 20 years just to get their money back to government, right? So if I was the lender, yeah, I'm taking it out of your paycheck and I won't feel any remorse for it. Like, you borrow money from me, I want it back. That's how the world works, right? So I definitely understand where the government's coming from on that. But to deal with more of the student side and the people who actually have the student loans, and how do you deal with all of a sudden, I have no choice but to pay my student loans. My student loans come before even feeding my family. How do you deal with that? Well, my advice would be this, guys. Most people after high school rush right into university. They have no money saved. They go to the government. They go to, like, in Ontario, it's called OSAP. They get their 50 grand and then they go for school for 4 years, and what they do is they work a part-time job, and on the weekends they go out with their friends because hey, they deserve it. I'm not saying you don't, but let me give you a different scenario. So scenario A, I'll write it here for you. Scenario A, scenario A, person comes in 50 grand of debt. They work for 4 years, save nothing because they spend it on the weekend. So they work a part-time job, save nothing, so they come back out with 50 grand. So they have 50 grand to pay versus scenario 2, this person has 50 grand, but they put aside $300 to $400 per month while they're in university, 4 years, 300 monthly, so 36 times 3,600 per year times 4 years, guys. You're looking right around, don't quote me on it, but I believe it's like 14,400. So this person has a lot less. We'll call it 35,000. So when this person comes out and they have 35,000, that's a lot less money. When you're coming out of university, you got to get a house, a car, or whatever, right? That's 15 grand you don't need. And obviously $300 a month, guys, that's not that crazy. Even if you're working a part-time job making 10 to 15K per year, put back 800 per month. You can do, for almost 10 grand a year, you have no student loans by the time you get back, by the time you get done. Another piece of advice I would offer is, hey, don't go to school right away in the first year. Wait a year, work a full-time job wherever. Bank $15,000 to $20,000, and then pay your first 2 years cash and take out loans for the rest. Be smarter with, I know people don't think about it because we don't really learn it in school, but be smarter with your financial choices too. I know school, it's a great outlet for a lot of people, and it can help them, get jobs because they don't really know what they want to do and whatnot. So don't let that good outlet for you become a bad thing financially. Deal with your financial side at the same time as dealing with your career side, we'll call it. So I want to bring that to your guys' mind, because I know student loans, it can really affect a lot of people in their lives, and I know the government, hey, it could affect them a ton too. There's so much money lent out in student loan debt. So I really just wanted to post a video talking about all this, give you guys some perspective on what's kind of going on out there. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you grabbed a ton of value. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and have a great day.